Dearly redheaded, we are choosing consciousness today to get through this thing called grief. Interesting word, grief. It means love, which makes for a mighty good joke. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing else. Just joy. And if the big picture tends to bring you down, go crazy once your life goes. Woo!
All right, I'm back with Shelly. Shelly, you were indicating in the end of the last episode, whereas I stood up and sort of pointed shit out and nothing changed, and I thought standing up made a difference, and I've since learned it doesn't. You said that you wouldn't stand up to this person in public, and you said because you had a business relationship, correct?
Yeah, we also had a business relationship, and there was no public to stand up to. It was and it was looked down upon and shameful to air out laundry in front of people. So I had attempted to have these conversations in private of just trying to make sense of what's going on, what his experience was, I would just be gaslighted the entire time. So it really didn't make sense to anyway, because it was just all aversion. Word salads, as they call it. A lot of things said, but nothing actually said. No questions actually answered head on. Just left for me to interpret over hours and days. So it was quite different in that respect. At the end, however, when I found out that there was a long-term second relationship running parallel to mine, I did, because now I had somebody to confront and make some sort of sense of all of them. Yeah. 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 And the sad part is that person, I recognized it immediately. I recognized the Stockholm, because at this point, we were like in year 4, and I had educated myself on covert narcissistic abuse. I've educated myself on Stockholm syndrome, and I was trying to work myself out because I was dead inside. It was triggering me on all kinds of levels. My very good friend, who was a therapist, had brought to me that I was living in some sort of repetition, compulsion relationship that made me question my immediate life relationships, parents, things like that, caretakers. So I was just trying to put puzzle pieces together and work myself out of this pit, which was very painful, especially if you are caring for somebody who is abusing you. And you like, for me, like, I genuinely cared for this person. And like I said, at times it led me to questioning myself more than questioning his behavior. And then sympathizing with his behavior, because he's depressed, he's going through a lot, he misses these certain people that have passed away.
All the stuff
that it's all covert. Yeah. It's all covert, collapsed narcissistic behavior. So when this other person was involved, and I put the puzzle pieces together that this was actually happening, well, then that gave me something to stand on. Yeah. To not only confront this person, but confront him about it as well. And again, it still was met with gaslighting, and he still tried to come back. instead of just walking away. And that led me to believe, well, this repetition compulsion is happening on the other side too. It's not just me, it's him too. So even though he could easily just step out and go to another relationship, he chooses to hold ties because in something that he needs to fix in himself, he's trying to.
Antisocial codependency.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I remember one time, you're making me think of things in a way that I haven't. Just being here with you, I hope it's obvious to my listeners, having this support, the way that I've been able to heal doing this podcast these last several weeks has had quantum effects on my healing. I hope that's obvious. So when I think of these stories, just like I hope you get from Shelly's stories, these examples are going to make people connect the dots. And I can remember there were a few women, but there's this one that, again, the therapist called her a sociopath. She wouldn't call my ex a sociopath, but she would call this woman. She had, and there's, I mean, that story's psychologically, like I alluded to, it raised the hairs on my friend's skin. There's more there, and eventually I'll do something with it or not. It just doesn't fucking matter at this point. But I remember she would come over, and she had lied to her husband about wanting to come over and see me, which really meant to see me and my ex. And she would say, I need to dive in your pool to smell like chlorine because I told my husband I was at the Y. And I would just look at her and go, but the normalcy of people behaving that way had been, Brian said something really interesting and a little bit of a segue. Brian, my producer, when we ended the second episode with Shelly, Brian, and I'm not trying to talk for you, I'm trying to make a real good point. Brian has said to me several times, he's not like this stuff. He can't relate to. He can relate to certain levels of dysfunction and what have you. And he said to me that he thinks most people would see through this. And my retort was, if they did, we wouldn't have the problems in our country that we do. But what, fair enough?
Sure.
All right. But what occurred to me after, very often Brian will say something like that, and I'm always grateful when he does, because not that we have to agree with one another, but he gives me like a perspective. And I was thinking about this. I was like, if you have a normal family, you're going to go into a marriage, whatever that is, and you go into a work environment that's now antisocial. You're going to do battle because, if you're used to a certain degree of normalcy, when something is abnormal, it's going to pop and you're going to know it's a problem. But when you, and again, guys, help me, both of you, but when it's in your family and it's in your marriage, and then the workplace is normal, it like the way, because I attracted normal people in business, I had the opposite effect. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Well, I do know what you mean, because I attracted normal people in my business and in my close relationships who were actually so beneficial because they were a guide to me.
Amen, sister. Do you see what I mean, Brian?
And where I was skewed in viewing and where I was trapped. And, listen, I had friends that were able to be guides because they were quote unquote normal and could see through the bullshit of this. And especially it's easier to see through it when you're not in the throes of any kind of relationship like this.
Yeah, and I can see, why corporations now get away with what they get away with, because they they thrive on fucking with the
Well, let me tell
normies.
you, once I learned about all this stuff, can I tell how many places, workplaces, corporate offices that I have seen that the same shit happens in the office to employees, managers? It's just on a different level.
No, I know. And that's why I work for myself, and that's why you work for yourself. And you know, the workplace that's normal has become less rampant because, and we're in this very interesting cycle where the younger generation is really beholden to that corporate mentality. The whole, you know, start your own thing and da-da-da-da, you know, and corporations thrive on the mentality of somebody who can't see through them because they haven't had it on the front lines. You get it in your family, you get it in your marriage, you start looking at yourself. You know, you may be able to be duped until you fully retrain your brain, because that's what it comes down to. But I would imagine, you know, there's it's interesting, and I hope I didn't put you too much on the spot. But if you
I said to you, I'm not most people.
No, but he when you said most people would see through this, there were a ton of people who thought my ex was an asshole. Mm-hmm. But all he had to say to me was, that didn't happen, that wasn't true. I had the ex-husband, well, now ex-husband, but the one of the women he had an affair with, the husband call me and tell me what was happening. And this guy's screaming at me because my brain is like, well, you know, all my ex had to do was deny it. And this woman, by the way, comma space, this woman was not threatening to me on any level. She wasn't better looking. She wasn't smarter. She wasn't funnier. But like I said earlier, I thought it was her empathy. You talk about fucking irony. Oh my God, it's funny, right? That's funny. She's fucking me with my own sauce. The empathy card. False empathy. Wow. So, yeah, thank you for playing along there, because I that's why I think we have a level of domestic Stockholm in this country. And our president told us so it must be true. Along these lines, now my humor is my humor based on having to make this shit funny and trying to have people see. It's not like I need people to I think the brain needs the comedic release, because it gives the brain the freedom to not take itself so seriously. It frees you from your inner critic. It frees you from a lot of things. So one thing that I made funny this week, and in my mind, it was more like a one-liner. It wasn't a bit, but y'all know that I was catfished and I was living with somebody who was gaslighting me. So the joke is the gaslighter was jealous of the catfisher. Ha ha, funny, right? Are you laughing, Shelly, or are you tolerating me?
No, it is. It's quite. I don't know. I think I said this the other day. I don't know if it's funny, but it is ironic. It's just sick.
Well, it feeds into where the dark empath has to go, if that makes sense. All right, so I asked AI. I said, can a gaslighter be jealous of a catfisher? And AI said yes, as both behaviors stem from a shared desire for power and control through manipulation and deception. Here's a breakdown of why this can occur. Shared traits. Both gaslighters and catfishers often exhibit traits like narcissism, lack of empathy, fragile ego, and need for admiration. Their core motivations for manipulating others are similar, leading to a potential rivalry or jealousy over who is more successful in their manipulation. All right, I just thought of something I don't want to fucking forget. Give me a second, because it's going to be a full circle moment. You know how excited I get about going around the barn. That's a comedic concept. Competition for supply. In psychological terms, manipulators often need an external source of validation, attention, or control, referred to as narcissistic supply, which is what you were talking about before. If both individuals are targeting the same victim, or the gaslighter perceives the catfisher as a more effective or successful manipulator, they may become jealous of the attention or control the catfisher is gaining.
Wow. Yeah.
I sometimes love AI. Hypocrisy and projection. Gaslighters frequently accuse others of the very behaviors that they themselves engage in as a way to deflect blame. Like my award-winning brother who accuses me of human violations. A gaslighter might accuse a catfisher of being a liar or manipulator out of jealousy, even though they rely on lies and manipulation themselves. Threat to control. Gaslighters work hard. I just lisped. Gaslighters work hard to make the victims question their own reality and become dependent on them. If a catfisher introduces a new competing narrative or source of attention for the victim, this threatens the gaslighter's carefully constructed control, which can trigger jealousy and aggressive outbursts. Okay, so he, I can make that funny, not trying to now, just with little, you can imagine, I just can. And it occurred to me, when I drew my catfisher out, my gaslighter thought there was seriously something wrong with me for tangoing with the catfisher. Now, I've said before, and I'll say it again, I was very clear in therapy that I knew that this person was full of shit, but my therapist put it in my head. Therefore, I took it. I was pretty reliant on his 2 cents, that I didn't have faith that what the catfisher said was true. Because I literally said to the therapist, this person isn't the person he's representing, and he's full of shit, but nonetheless, he's funny. And my therapist played on my faith. And that right there, under Stockholm, if you mess with somebody's faith, it can start this, shall we call it a cycle? I don't know. It can start in the brain. The brain becomes familiar, and this shit starts all over again. You with me, Shelly?
Yes.
So then my instinct became to out this person, which I did do. You remember me telling you that? I knew name, information. I ended up calling that person and outing them, thinking that because this person was doing this on such a grand scale, I made the connection that the police would be interested in somebody doing this sort of harm. And then I became the problem, because what type of person would draw him out, right? But then I thought, that's what police do all the time. That's their fucking job, is to figure out who's engaged in doing these behaviors, hacking into computers, whatever. And in my case, I was hacked too, and I assumed it was the same person, whatever. But I thought to myself, and it's a stretch, but play along. Remember the situation months ago when that daughter was catfished by her own mother?
Yeah.
That would have taken me 5 minutes to figure out. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not doing, I don't want it to sound insensitive to what that poor girl went through, but it galls me to think how long it took the police to figure that out. Yet when I figured it out and outed the person and thought there would be some sort of accountability for the pain they cause, there was something wrong with doing that. Do you see my point? I mean, I just became a detective and figured it out.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's essentially how you get out.
Yeah. I mean, I was pissed.
Or how one gets out is because the only way out is to be the detective yourself.
And
in these kinds of situations.
And I don't think if I hadn't figured out the catfisher, I don't think I would have figured out the gaslighter. And therein lies the beginning and end of my story with tangoing with these types. Because once you get it, and it's sad to me that these things go on, and it's just so familiar to the poor brain, man. I feel like I've had caffeine. So, sorry, I got a little carried away there, but I think this, it's funny, as much as I know about this and can think through it, and, I don't want to, it's not like I want to do this every day and every night. I don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time here. I'm just really wanting to heal from my own situation and take those interested along. I wonder what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. I wonder what I'm going to be doing. So, where are we? 21. All right, we're at 21. So this is 3 or 4. I'm already zoning. Oh, this is only 3. Michelle, holy shit. I think I know what we can start to talk about and bring into the next episode, because I really want to spend some time in this. Shelly, you game?
Are we still recording?
Yes.
Okay, right now.
Yes, right now. Swear to Buddha. Okay. We are.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. But this we got to turn into, let me just. Sometimes I think that topics are going to go on, and then you wrap things up so beautifully with me. I don't know what else to fucking say. I personally have been in awe, and that's a little facetious, by certain family members, certainly my ex, not so much the catfisher, but and then the roommate, the gaslighter, just in awe what they can get people to believe. Now I recognize that it's a degree I don't have. Like I don't have that gift to sway people or to, and I don't mean that negatively, but if you don't know me and you don't know how I'm motivated, I've often wondered how people can so successfully make me look like the problem, whether they're trying to make me look crazy or whatever it is. Do you ever wonder in your head where these gifts come from, that manipulative gift?
In other people?
Yes.
No, I don't think I do.
I'm alone in this.
No. I mean, I have thought about it where their manipulation is coming from, but I don't think I've ever described it as a gift.
It left me in awe. Not damn, I wish I had the gift. Don't think that. I actually think the superpower in being autistic is so much of this was flying over my head. I was frustrating the crap out of them. You know, I wasn't having the reactions that they sometimes were gunning for. And
Right.
But then when I saw through them, that's the undoing. Took me a while, but once I did it. So anyway, I found something to help people understand how this happens. And this piece, oftentimes they're called flying monkeys. In my family, there was flying monkeys that did the dirty work for the true antisocials. And that was something that took me a long time to sort of grasp as to what the motivation would be, what the payoff was. I had to really think about each individual and what their contribution was to making this massive scapegoating campaign work. And then I not only had to do that, then I had to do it again when I lost my mother to try and understand what had happened between my sons and myself. Make sense?
Yes.
So where my sons were concerned, my instinct was to apologize for the indoctrination and the toleration, but that's not what kids want. Kids want you to acknowledge what you've repeated and meet them where they're at in their own pain and processing. And I've tried now to do both. I've tried to say, okay, well, I feel like absolute dog crap for what I indoctrinated you into, but since you're indoctrinated and aligned with those people, now I've got to say, okay, I accept that. That's not what you're looking for. Do tell me what you're experiencing so I can respond to how it's manifesting for you. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to set the stage for how these people get them from folks that don't play by those same rules. Like if you're normal and you don't know these strategies, I'm trying to say, okay, well, here's some of the strategies that they utilize.
How is that received?
Explain what you mean.
Like, so are you saying that you are providing these strategies to your kids, let's just say? How is that received?
I can't.
Their own.
I can't.
Right. Okay, that's the point. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
Thank you. Beautiful. No, they're not interested.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. No,
That's the problem. That's part of the issue. Is because we're in the throes of wanting to acknowledge and change and break these cycles and make up for our mistakes and acknowledge our deficiencies in the matter and where they're at this time, or anyone in, like any child, like even if I would speak to my own, it's just not, there's no interest. Like this is something that needs to be on their own terms, on their own time.
yes. And I think as excruciatingly heartbreaking as it is, the cycle, you can break the cycle for yourself. Breaking the cycle in the big picture of things is not possible. Because as it's stopping, it's starting.
Right.
And as much as I've read and done research on estrangement, you can't separate from your family and not have just serious repercussions. Serious repercussions. I had no idea. And again, therapy advised me to separate, but therapy did not prepare me for how much worse it was going to get.
Right.
And I think that is, I think it's especially for adult children making the decision to separate. And I'm not saying it's not viable, but you have to be prepared for the outcomes. Now, in my situation, as much as I just wait to see what my kids, where they're at. I could be furious as a result of a few things that happened, but I just don't want to hang on to it, and I don't want to. I want to meet them where they're at and keeping on with what I'm doing for myself. And I don't feel. I feel a strong obligation to people in similar situations as myself, both men and women, who want to crawl out of this stuff. And it's not like the kids are on the back burner, but there's nothing I can do to. They're on their own soul's journey.
Right.
And a lot of people don't. That's why the soul work that I'm doing in conjunction with the brain work is so important to me, because my soul is starting to remember who I am and remember what home is like, and to remember why I'm here, and to know that none of this happened. This was all predetermined. Are you a believer in that too?
Yeah, I am.
Like, what the fuck did we contract for?
Yeah, I've asked that question many times. Many dark nights of the soul. I've asked that question.
All right, Brian's given me the thumbs up. I'm in a state of mind, just so you both know, where I've lost time and space. So we're going into number 4.
Thank you for listening and supporting Natural Born Redhead. If you follow the bouncing balls, please like and subscribe. If you know someone interested in sparing others grief and inciting joy, message me on Facebook or reach out via my website, Natural Born Redhead. J Ma.